In 1957, Ghana was the richest country in sub-Saharan Africa, more gold than almost anywhere on the continent. Cocoa exports that supplied the entire world. Timber, bauxite, diamonds, manganese. A newly independent nation sitting on a mountain of natural wealth with a government that had a plan to keep every dollar of it inside the country. 8 years later, that plan was destroyed in a single night. And the people who destroyed it were not Ghana's enemies. They were on Ghana's payroll. When Ghana gained independence from Britain in 1957, it inherited something rare: a functioning economy with genuine export revenue. Cocoa prices were high. Gold was flowing. The treasury had reserves. The new government immediately began redirecting that wealth inward. Free education for Ghanaian children. State factories producing finished goods inside Ghana rather than shipping raw materials out for foreign companies to process and profit from. Infrastructure connecting rural communities to urban markets. A hydroelectric dam on the Volta River that would power an entire industrial economy. For the first time in Ghanaian history, the wealth of Ghanaian soil was being used to build Ghanaian lives. The rest of Africa watched and saw what independence could actually look like. Washington watched and saw something very different. A newly independent African nation keeping its own resources, building state industries that competed with foreign companies, buying military equipment from the Soviet Union, hosting liberation movements from across the continent. In 1960s Washington, that combination had one label regardless of the reality on the ground: communist threat. The CIA opened a file on Ghana. Station officers were deployed to Accra. Relationships were built with Ghanaian military officers who were dissatisfied with the government. Money moved through channels that were never meant to be traced. And on the night of February 23, 1966, while Ghana's leader was on a peace mission abroad, the operation activated. General Emmanuel Kwasi Katoka commanded the ground operation. Colonel Akwasi Amankwa Afrifa coordinated the military units. Police Inspector General John Willie Kofi Harley secured the institutional machinery of government. 3 men, 1 night. An entire democracy dismantled before sunrise. Army units surrounded the presidential compound. Radio stations were seized. By dawn, the National Liberation Council had announced it was in control. The American embassy in Accra sent a cable to Washington before most Ghanaians even knew what had happened. Declassified CIA documents later confirmed what the cable suggested. American intelligence had prior knowledge, had been in contact with the plotters, had actively supported the removal of a government that was keeping Ghanaian wealth in Ghana. Within days of the coup, Western governments recognized the new military council. Within weeks, the IMF was in Accra. The speed of what happened next tells you everything about what the coup was actually for. State factories closed. Government support prices for cocoa farmers slashed. The industrialization program abandoned. The Akasambo Dam that had been built to power Ghanaian industries was handed over on terms that gave Kaiser Aluminum of America, a private American corporation, cheap electricity for its smelting operations, while Ghanaian communities around the dam had no power at all. A dam built with Ghanaian labor and Ghanaian debt, generating profit for an American company. Every policy that had been designed to keep Ghanaian wealth in Ghana was reversed within months of the coup. That is not coincidence. That is the point. What followed was 30 years of economic destruction dressed up as governance. General Ignatius Kutu Achimpong seized power in 1972. Under Achimpong, the Ghanaian cedi was printed without restraint to fund government spending and personal enrichment. Inflation destroyed the savings of ordinary Ghanaians overnight. A shadow economy of corruption and black market trading, what Ghanaians called calabule, consumed every public institution. Government contracts were awarded to cronies. State resources were diverted into private accounts. Public infrastructure collapsed because the money meant to maintain it had already been stolen. Achimpong was eventually removed by his own military colleagues and executed by firing squad in 1979. But the system he had built continued under different names. Then came the structural adjustment. In 1983, Jerry John Rawlings, who had seized power twice, in 1979 and again in 1981, signed Ghana's full IMF structural adjustment agreement. It required Ghana to cut government spending on health and education, to devalue the cedi, to remove food subsidies, to privatize state assets, to open the economy to foreign capital on terms the IMF set. not terms Ghana chose. The same conditions imposed on Nigeria, on Jamaica, on Trinidad, on every resource-rich developing nation that arrived at the IMF's door after decades of instability that Western interference had helped create. Ghana, which in 1957 had more foreign reserves than South Korea, was by 1983 entirely dependent on foreign loans with conditions attached that guaranteed wealth would keep flowing outward rather than inward. The circle was complete. In 2007, Ghana discovered oil offshore. The world waited to see if this time would be different. The early revenue was promising. Schools were funded. Roads were built. But questions emerged quickly about the terms signed with foreign oil companies, Tullow Oil and Aker Energy among them. Whether Ghana had negotiated those terms from strength or from the weakness of a country still carrying debt obligations that limited its options at the table. The Ghana National Petroleum Corporation faced repeated transparency questions about how revenue was being reported and allocated. And in 2022, Ghana went to the IMF again. The country that had more wealth than South Korea at independence, back at the IMF's table in 2022, signing conditions, accepting terms, cutting spending on the same people who had been waiting since 1957 for independence to deliver what it promised. This is the system the Odd Archive has been documenting across every video we have made. We have already exposed Nigeria, Gaddafi, Jamaica, India, Guyana, Canada, Iran, the Philippines, Venezuela, and Trinidad. Every single story follows the same architecture. Find a resource, destabilize whoever protects it for the people, install whoever opens it to foreign extraction, impose debt conditions that guarantee it keeps flowing outward. And when the country asks why it is still poor after all that wealth, tell them it is their own fault. Ghana is not poor because Ghanaians cannot manage money. Ghana had more money than South Korea in 1957. South Korea today is one of the wealthiest nations on earth. Ghana went back to the IMF in 2022. The difference between those two outcomes is not culture or intelligence or work ethic. It is what happened on the night of February 24th, 1966. And who paid for it? Drop a comment below right now. Tell me where you are watching from. Do you want us to keep naming the politicians, the generals, and the intelligence officials in every future video? Comment yes below. We choose our next country from your comments. Drop the name of the nation whose buried history you want us to expose next. Share this video right now. Someone in your life thinks Ghana is poor because of bad luck. Show them 1957. Show them 1966. Show them the IMF conditions of 1983. Show them 2022. One share puts this in front of thousands of people who were never shown the full picture. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, search official The Odd Archive, and turn on notifications. Follow this page. Share. Comment your country. Because the next story we are dropping connects every video we have ever made into one single global system. And when you see it, everything will finally make sense. Want more hidden history? Read my book, Unit 731. Your support helps me create more videos. Link in the description.